can bring that stuff down. Good morning. Today in the gospel reading, Mr. Moore had to read a lot of big, funny, long names of all these people who came together because they heard the disciples, the first disciples of Jesus, speaking in languages that were their own, and they didn't know how that was happening. But you know what they also probably wondered about? They looked different. You know what they looked like? Don't you know? They had, it says, tongues of flame. It was like all of a sudden they had fire, and it was over their head like this. Does that look funny? That looks kind of funny, right? So that's the first thing. It said when the wind came through, all of a sudden they had these little tongues of flame, and the flame, it would look like fire. Why do you think God did that? Why do you think there was fire over their heads? To tell them something? Maybe. You know why? You know why I think? I don't know. There was no real purpose to the fire. The fire didn't tell the people about God's marvelous deeds. The mouths of the disciples did that. But they had these little flames. And what does fire usually do? You can use it for candles, and when you use it for candles, what does it do? Yeah, so lights up things. You can see things because there's light. It gives light. It does something. What else could you use fire for? Burning down houses. So you got to be very, very careful with how much you. It makes your parents nervous even when I play with fire like that, right? As well it should. But sometimes out on the patio we have a fire pit that we have fire. So when it's cool out at night, the fire helps keep us warm. That's one of the things fire can do. And with gas fire, too, like out there, or even with charcoal or something like that, we sometimes in the summertime, we cook food on it, right? So we can cook with it, we can keep warm with it, we can use to see. Fire does something. And I think one of the things that maybe God wanted the disciples to know was that when they felt God in their lives, they weren't just supposed to feel it in their hearts and say, oh, this is nice, I feel good. They were supposed to do something. They were supposed to share that with other people. They were supposed to make that something that other people could be able to have in their lives and share with others. And that's what the disciples did. They talked about all the great things that God did so that those people could go out and do those things also in the lives of other people, all those places throughout the world, all those places maybe we never heard of. Some of them we have. Okay? So that's the thing to remember, that when we have God in our lives, God is not just there for us to say, oh, that's pretty, because sometimes you could just say that with fire, right? That's pretty. But that we're supposed to be people who do things to share God's love with others. Okay? So let's say a prayer. Can we say a prayer? Okay, we'll fold hands, we'll say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for blessing us with your Spirit. Thank you for blessing us with your Spirit. Help us to be people. Help us to be people who share your love with others, by what we say, and by what we do, Amen. Amen. Thank you guys very much.